We are live.
Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, the 12th of September. Welcome to TDA, the day after your favorite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by you guys. And like we are every blessed morning, we're hosted by the very best in the building. You care to introduce yourselves?
Gina, it's you.
That's because she ain't supposed to be here.
Sorry. I feel like I haven't said my intro in ages.
Now's your
I haven't
time.
said it in this new studio. Wow.
Hmm.
It's your girl Just Dream representing the black queens in the fitness scene. How you mean, how you mean, how you mean.
Ramsey.
Gannon, morning. Ramses is his brother. One part host of the rotation, the pro-Palestine activist, and I can't remember what else I say.
You shouldn't be saying that though.
Why not? Why not?
Just say something else. Freestyle, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm here, innit? How's everyone doing? Because the camera's going to be stuck on me.
Yeah,
for a bit
yeah.
now.
Oh, it's gonna be stuck.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we do have another family member in the building.
Yes.
And we have
Oh, hi guys. I don't have an intro yet. It's just Dr. Amani. How you doing? You know who I am.
good.
Hold up. Let me just send to you.
So millennial. I can't
One
be on
second.
camera and not do that. Like
Yeah, literally.
I can't. But the thing is, the girlies are doing something new. We're doing this now. Are you seeing that everyone's posing like this now?
Happy birthday. Oh, you can do this.
Oh, Iman, you're doing that.
This.
Yeah, what?
That's your thing, right?
No.
Okay.
Definitely. I prefer to remain the head of the sexes. You know what I mean? So don't worry. And you know what? Yesterday and the day before, I promised you guys that we've got an amazing guest in the building. Yeah, a family member also.
Yes.
And the last time she was here, we literally broke the internet, man.
Yeah,
You
word.
know what I'm saying? So much so that the episode is gone.
Gone.
You know what I'm saying? But today we're going to try and do the same amount of damage, but in a more different way. So it remains up there, you know what I'm saying? So it educates and edifies all our people. Good morning. Please introduce yourselves to the people that don't know you.
I am Kemi. I was formerly a UK registered midwife. I am now a birth keeper. I left the register about 4 years ago. I am, famous for being Ramsey's auntie. So, I watched him grow up and marvelled at how difficult he was as a young man because he's very opinionated and actually warms my soul. So as he was growing up, obviously it was a problem because he doesn't stand for no nonsense. And obviously I came from a generation, I'm Gen X, and we were seen and not heard as children. So we were kind of the transition to fabulous millennials who definitely are heard and seen, which I love. I'm just a very blessed mother of children that are all similar to Ramsey. We're all very opinionated, and I don't think everyone's entitled to an opinion, obviously. I think you need to be of a certain intelligence. I'm sorry. I just don't think everyone's entitled to an opinion. But I definitely think my children and my nephews and nieces are, because they're spectacular.
Amazing. Well, you're not just Ramsey's auntie, you're all of our aunties. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we appreciate you for coming back again and blessing us with your presence. I've been telling the people, like I said earlier, that I know it's going to be a powerful episode. You're going to be dropping some gems.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm a traditional person. Yes, this should be for everybody, men included. But women, please, get your pens and pads out, man.
100%.
Because,
Yeah.
really, important information will
Yeah.
be disseminated today, man.
Well, men and the women, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody,
Yeah, that's what he
everybody.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, how's everyone doing, man?
Good, thank you.
Did you going somewhere?
I'm going to a fitness retreat on Sunday.
A fitness
Nice.
retreat.
Nice.
I love that for you.
There you go.
It's okay.
I love that for you. The girls are going on retreats these days, which I like.
I'm really excited because I like training on holiday anyway. So the fact that that's all I get to do, there's like a long itinerary. There's like so much stuff to do during the day. But I'm also working, so I'm there for work, to be fair.
Nice.
Okay, so
But
you're
I'm
going to be
also-
training people.
Yeah,
as well.
so
Okay.
I'm working over 4 days. But I'm also gonna get some downtime, and I'm gonna take part in like other stuff as well. So it should be good.
Nice.
Love that for you.
That's really good.
Where are you going?
Spain,
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
get some sun.
And is it all like HIIT or is it like yoga?
It's everything.
Everything.
I'm mainly gonna be doing Pilates and yoga.
Mhm.
I wanna
Zen.
Zen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good and healthy choices rather than drinking holidays.
I haven't got that in me anymore.
Don't have it in.
You don't need it.
Yeah, I don't have it in me anymore.
It's too much. I don't have the stamina.
No.
Literally yesterday, I was saying to a friend, he was asking me about Dream Weekend in Jamaica. Do you know about Dream Weekend? Yeah. I went last year.
Do you know it's on my list though? It
Do
does
it.
look like a time.
Yeah.
Do it once.
Once.
But
Exactly.
I don't have the stamina. Like, I remember by the second to last party, like the girls were like, okay, cool, we're gonna come in, came from the day party. We're gonna come in, we're gonna nap until about 11, get ready, go out for 1. We wake up about 12, midnight, yeah. Everyone's getting ready in silence. Usher.
Yeah,
Like looking like zombies, like curling hair.
tired,
And then we looked at each other and we're like, we don't have to do this.
Don't have to.
But we've paid what?
Yeah.
£500 for your ticket or whatever. You're
Have
going
to
to
go.
every party.
Yeah.
And then because like there's a theme for every single party, the girls have spent months in the group chat
Planning.
planning the fit,
Yeah.
buying things, sending it back, all of this stuff. You feel like you have to wear the fit. But I just don't have it in me anymore.
I can't
It's
do
okay.
partying at all. I don't. You don't know I don't like leaving my house anyway. But I can't do partying. Like, I don't leave my house, and even when I'm at a party, I leave really early. I bought concert tickets in advance. No one gonna go into the concert. Day of, I'm like, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave my house. I can't do late nights. I can't do it. I don't know how people stay up all night.
But, you know, me being Gen X, we're famous for not attending to any of the things that pertain to longevity, health, etc. Not finding houses, buying them, land. So I'm really glad that your generation are actually slowing up a bit quicker because it gives you time to actually do the things that matter rather than the perpetual partying. I know like people are going to say, how dare she say that Gen X, we did. And it may have been a trauma response even from being raised by boomers, but we definitely partied for too long and
Still do.
may not have attended to what we needed to attend to, but fortunately you guys are bringing up the standards.
My mum always says that. My parents, anyway, they'll sit me down and be like, you guys are so much more intentional than we were.
Really?
Like, I will have conversations with them about, like, have you guys got your will sorted? Have you got your, like, I need to think about what I'm going to do when you got, and you're like,
you're raising us.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be Gen X, but it's like you're raising us, and I accept that. So my children also ask me those pointed questions. So, Mum, what are we saying? Like, and I can't tell them how little is laid up. So
no, I get it. I mean, they've done it, which is good.
Yeah,
but they're just
that's
like,
good.
yeah, you guys think about things way more.
I
like,
love it.
We just got here.
Yeah.
Like, we just got a house. We had you guys. That was it, and then we're here.
Seriously.
Yeah.
No,
So we don't have. I don't have to worry about my grandchildren, and so my children are saying to me all the time. Said you don't need to worry about your grandchildren. We're more worried about you. What have you got sorted? What you got done? Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, but that shows that you raised your children.
100%.
Fair. Yeah, at least I got that right.
100%.
Brent, you in the building?
Yo.
How you feeling, man? You good?
Less than highly favored. Thank you very much.
Thank God. We thank God. Again, people, share the video, please. I've seen in the chat here, some people are saying the audio is off. All you need to do is go out, come back in, people. Go out and come back in. And again, I know I say it quite, a lot sometimes, but this will be a powerful episode, man. Share the video, please. I believe we've got a lot to talk about today, so I do want us to get straight into it. Brent, anything you want to say in the intro?
No. When you say off, how do you mean?
What do you mean? No, I'm just repeating what somebody said in the chat.
Kofi says audio slightly off. What does that mean?
I have no idea. But somebody else said something too about the audio. But they said it was fixed.
Yeah.
Just need to go out and come back in.
All right.
I think it was just going in and out, they were saying. But yeah, I believe we're ready to go into our headlines, Brent.
All right, then. Let's get that cracking.
All right, people. So our first headlines, your favorite PM, Sir Keir Starmer, has fired Mandelson after reviewing emails that showed the Labour peer sent supportive messages to Epstein as he faced charges for sex offences back in 2008. The government said new information about the depth of Lord Mandelson's relationship with Epstein had not been known when he was appointed last year. The Conservatives are calling for the publication of all vetting material, while some Labour MPs are criticising Sir Keir Starmer for appointing Mandelson in the first place. The Prime Minister's spokesperson said vetting was handled by a government department, and any suggestion that Number 10 was involved is untrue. They also said that Sir Keir Starmer found the emails reprehensible. The Tories said that the Prime Minister needs urgently to come clean on what he knew when he appointed Lord Mandelson and before Sir Keir backed the Labour peer during the Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday. Do you feel like he knew something?
Huh?
You feel like he knew something?
100%.
Why?
100%. Remember he went through a whole tirade in the beginning when he was getting rid of everyone that supported Palestine and he said, I'm only looking for the best of the best. Yeah. No, I'm dead ass.
Yeah.
So he got rid of everyone that spoke up. Also tried to get rid of, forgetting her name. I forgot her name, but he got rid of everyone saying he was looking for the best of the best, but kept Peter Mandelson. 100%.
But I mean, Mandelson might have just understated his relationship, innit?
No, I think Mandelson was malleable to him because Keir Starmer was very power hungry. And he knew that he could morph Mandelson into whatever he wanted him to do and say. Also, this is almost like a mirror image of what happened to Boris with Pincher. So I think it was Chris Pincher, in which he was alleged to sexually assault, trigger warning someone else, and Boris knew and still kept it in cabinet. Ultimately, why he resigned. But it's going to be the same thing with Keir. It's just one thing after another. The homeless. I forgot what they called it. The woman who raised her rent by £700. Angela Rayner not paying her stamp duty tax, and now this is mad.
What do you think about the whole Angela Rayner thing? Because you know, big up Coffee in the chat. He was in support of Angela Rayner.
What did he say?
Well, to be fair, he was basically saying, guys, let's just, give her a blind. Like, she made a mistake. At least she came forward and confessed. And I'm saying this is not a mistake. Like, everything was planned. You knew full well why you inflated the value of your property. Remember, people were talking about Trump inflating the value of his his assets too, so he can get loans. Everyone got onto Trump. I don't know why they don't have the same energy for Angela Rayner.
What did she inflate?
She inflated the value of her property, right? So basically, the lawyers said that the property was X amount. They've come back, spoke to Land Registry, talking about, oh no, we made a mistake. We only gave you 75% of the value. So they've increased it now, the extra 25%, cool. Then she's later taken out equity, bought the property for that 25% difference, right? She sold her share of the property for that 25% difference and bought another property. That other property now, she's now said, okay, cool. It's not a second residence, it's my first residence. She changed the name to that to save £40,000 on the stamp duty. So she's two things.
That's not what I heard.
All planned.
That's not what I heard.
What'd you hear?
Because her son was made to be disabled by the NHS, she got money from the NHS to then buy a house. This is
garbage.
Okay. All right, this is coming from her mouth though. This is what she said in the interview.
That's the reason why she resigned.
So her child was disabled. Her and her ex-husband divorced, but they wanted to ultimately keep the main residence for their son to grow up in. This is what I'm.
That's all correct. That's all correct.
Cool. So she got the house, kept the house, put the house in the son's name in a trust. So it was his property, and then she went to go buy another property, which was her primary residence. When she went and got what's the word? Advice. It wasn't legal advice. That's what ended up messing her up in the end. Once the inquiry came back, they said in the email they specified that we don't think you need to pay an extra stamp duty, but this isn't legal advice, and we recommend you go get actual legal advice. But she didn't, obviously. That's basically the story that I heard. Now, to give her the benefit of the doubt, I get it. She came from, it was not even arguably, it was a difficult circumstance going through a divorce, and obviously the fact that her son was made disabled by them man. And she bought a house thinking it was this. I don't think it was that deep. I think her current role forced her to resign. But I know most of these men are playing games wrong.
I mean, Coffee. Before we get into real stuff that we want to talk about, feel free to join the Discord so you can share the same fate as Mirad. You know what I'm saying? You can share the same fate. I'm all right today. So anyway, it's the thing, everything you said is correct from the left's perspective. when you look into it again, the money that was taken to buy the property in her son's name, right, via the trust, everything you just said, was done by selling her share because of the whole divorce thing, right? Like, again, just like you said. But the property didn't have that much equity in it. Her property is almost twice the value of every other property on the same street. That's fraud. That's fraud. When Trump does it, it's an issue. When Angela Rayner does it, oh no, there's excuses. No, we have to be consistent across the board. I'm fine with what she did, but it's because you're saying we shouldn't do it, and because you're trying to increase stamp duty for the regular man. No, don't get round it. You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
Pay the extra 40K like everybody else. So yeah.
So where was his energy for Matt Hancock when he gave his best friend the PPE contracts and we lost billions?
What do you mean? Where was the energy?
You didn't have his energy.
For me?
Yeah.
Listen, my energy is across the board.
It's not
I've been trying to tell you.
Not though. So when someone from the left messes up,
no.
riled up. And then when anyone from the right messes up, you're saying it is what it is. The system needs to be fixed.
Do you know why? It's because you guys on the left feel like
you guys. I've never said I was from the left.
You're on the left.
I'm on the left.
Of course you're on the left.
I'm on the left.
What policy do you believe in that can be associated with the right? Not one. Exactly. You're on the left.
I've never said I was on the left. I never said I was a socialist or a communist or whatever.
Yeah, but
I just believe in justice. That's it. I just want the right thing for everyone.
Yeah, and that's from the left's perspective.
Okay.
You're 100% a socialist. 100%. Many people are socialists for some reason, right?
But you don't have this energy. We lost 4 to 5 billion, bro.
Yeah.
4 to 5 billion.
Yeah.
And you're worried about this woman ain't paying 40 grand of tax. What do we care about? Who cares, bro? Who cares? I don't care about Angela Rayner paying the system.
I care. And you should care, because if you want to get a second property for your child, you're going to pay the stamp duty for a second property.
If I could get away with it,
too.
I would. And so would you, bruv. Let's be real. Most of us will try and exploit the system or get away with not paying what we have to pay.
Ramsey, again, yes. But I'm saying to you, she's trying to make it difficult for us. Don't evade it too. No. You are in public office. You are the second most powerful person in the country. Pay the 40K. Because you want us to pay it.
It's a shame though, because she ain't gonna take over Keir Starmer. I don't know who's next. If it's Wes Streeting, it might be peak for everyone.
Why? Why do you think so? What's wrong with Wes?
Wes Streeting has expressed a lot of support for insurance-based healthcare. He's been selling off a lot of the NHS. He's pro that. And
but he feels like he needs to though. He feels like he needs to.
Yeah, to help the people that are lobbying for it, to help make more money. What do you mean? No. He thinks selling an NHS and having an insurance-based system is good because it'll be better for us, like it is in America. What are we talking about?
The money is going into the NHS, and the NHS can't support the things it needs to support.
Because we wasted 4 to 5 billion on wasted PPE that we never used.
No, it's because we're wasting billions on the Ukraine war. That's what we're doing. And because we're funding all other types of nonsense.
There are two things to me, right? But
100%.
wasted PPE is crazy.
Yeah, but that. Again, that was the Tories though. That's not him, innit? So
Tories that you ride for.
I don't ride for nobody. My party is the Black Party. You already know this already. I'm simply saying to everybody, don't think the Messiah comes from the right or the left. You guys are tethered to the left for some reason. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to show you the other side. Just so happens that the other side is the blue side. But both sides are garbage. You know what I'm saying? Only you can save yourself, man. Not one of them. That's my position. But anyway, that's the situation with Keir Starmer and Mandelson. But there's more headlines but this time from Farage. So Farage is basically facing questions over who funded £885,000 Clacton constituency home. So the Clacton MP has denied avoiding more than £44,000 in additional stamp duty on the purchase of the constituency home by putting it in his partner's name, saying that she bought it with her own funds. You see, the same thing from both sides. Both criminals. He suggested that she was able to afford to buy the 4-bedroom home, which was bought without a mortgage. Sorry, guys. Which was bought without a mortgage because she comes from a wealthy French family. However, the BBC has examined the French property and company records and has been unable to find evidence that Ferrari's parents, this is his partner, right, have the means to give their daughter a significant contribution towards the purchase of the home. It comes as Farage revealed that he has taken specialist legal advice from a taxation king's counsel on the purchase, despite claiming that he wasn't involved. If the reform leader was the source of the funds used for the home, which he has previously denied, it will be legal for his partner to use them to buy the property in her name and pay the lower rate of stamp duty. But it would open Farage to charges of hypocrisy and seeking to avoid tax, particularly after he criticised
100%.
Angela Rayner last week. And our next headline, Bridget Phillipson and Lucy Powell will face each other in the contest to become the next deputy leader of Britain's ruling Labour Party, after the other candidate failed to secure enough backing from fellow MPs. Phillipson, who's Education Secretary, is widely seen as the leadership's favoured choice to replace Angela Rayner, who quit last week after she admitted underpaying property taxes. So she admitted it, guys. Powell, by contrast, was sacked as the leader of the House of Commons in the resulting reshuffle. If she wins, she's expected to maintain more distance from the actions of Sir Keir Starmer's government. Phillipson secured 175 votes, while Powell got 117 votes. Next headline, and Doha will host an emergency Arab-Islamic summit on Sunday and Monday to discuss the Israeli attack on Qatar's capital. This is what the state news agency Q&A reported. For those who don't know, Israel carried out the strike in Doha in an attempt to kill Hamas's political leadership. The group said that the attack missed all of its top negotiators, though 5 Hamas members were killed, including the son of the exiled Gaza chief Khalil al-Khayar. Qatari Prime Minister said that Benjamin Netanyahu killed any hope of a deal to release all the Israeli hostages in Gaza when he ordered an airstrike on Doha. Calling Tuesday's airstrike on Doha an act of state terror, Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani said, "I was meeting one of the hostages' families the morning of the attack, and they are counting on his mediation. They have no other hope for that."
That's that NOI chin.
Come on.
Sorry.
Bruh.
And trigger warning on this one. Trigger warning, people. This is about a rapist, yeah. Trigger warning. One of South Africa's most notorious rapists. Ben, you adding something to the doc?
Excuse me?
Are you adding something to the doc? It keeps moving. All right. One of South Africa's most notorious rapists and murderers, Thabo Bester, has taken court action to block Netflix from broadcasting a documentary about his life, including how he allegedly faked his death and escaped from prison. His lawyers argued that Beauty and the Bester was defamatory, but the streaming giant defended its plan to release the 3-part investigation. His partner, celebrity doctor, whose name I can't pronounce, features in the documentary, having allegedly helped him escape. She's part of the court bid to hold the release. The High Court is expected to give its ruling about 30 minutes before the documentary's planned release to a global audience on Friday. Bester was convicted in 2012 for the rape and murder of his model girlfriend, Nomfundo Tuhulu. A year earlier, he was found guilty of raping and robbing 2 other women as well. And our last headline for now, Black British founders are being urged to apply for a new program to help successfully scale their business. Digital Catapult has announced that its Black Founders program has returned for a 3rd year in partnership with Sony Music UK and Sony Music Publishing UK, and in a first for the program in collaboration with broadcaster Channel 4. Applications are open for the 2025 program, which will support up to 15 early-stage Black-founded deep tech companies to scale successfully and drive the practical application of deep tech within the UK's creative economy. Jessica Russworth, who is the Chief Partnerships Officer for Digital Catapult, said, "Our interventions lay important foundation for supporting early-stage deep tech startups, highlighting opportunities for the investors in businesses they would not otherwise be aware of." And that is it for our headlines, people. We're going to get into our topic of the day. All right.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
All right, I'm running.
Okay. Let's see what Brent's got.
All right.
While you're doing that, let me see how I'm being slandered in the chat. By the
Gina's face card is incredible. Did you not see that?
No.
I wonder why.
You're all over it.
Can you look at now? Thank you.
Nice.
All right.
Nice, thank you.
All right, people. So, like we promised you, yeah, we've got a powerful conversation that we want to have. And it's pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's going to go into different topics and stuff. But it's going to be centered around birthing taboos. You know what I'm saying? All the views, the perspectives, the opinions that have been put into our heads from birth, pretty much, right? We want to challenge some of those things, right? And really educate and edify the entire community. So, in fact, let me go around the room. What one thing would you say you've heard? I'll start with you, Ramsey. That you've heard about birth, right? That maybe you feel like needs to be challenged, or you, over your years of educating yourself, have found out to be a lie.
That women have to give birth on their back.
Mm.
I think that's probably the main thing. That when it's on shows and that, just on their back screaming and that. I don't. It's not like that.
A little bit of pushback. Have we been told women have to be on their backs though, or is that just a comfortable position?
What do you mean? Because I can destroy both of them points.
Do it for me.
Okay, cool. So it's not a comfortable position.
Okay.
Number one, it's easier for the doctors to do what they're doing when the woman's on her back, because then you can operate, check, inspect, do whatever he wants to do when the woman's on her back.
Okay.
And the reason I say we're told is because when you're seeing it constantly shown on TV, it's the woman's water's broken. Immediately she needs to be thrown in. She's screaming. She's on her back, and it's not like that at all. It can take, especially for first birth, it can take women hours and hours and hours, a very very long time to give birth. A comfortable position for a woman to be is not on her back. It will always be in either a squatting position, a sitting position, or a lean forward position. It's usually on upright.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're helping gravity do its job, as opposed to being on their back, where their spine and coccyx is blocking the exit.
This is a man who has some kids.
One
kid, one of my kids.
Yes.
One kid.
Yeah.
You know more than I do.
Yes.
One kid. But yeah, that's basically why I was saying it's on multiple levels. That's wrong.
And Takemi, how well is his answer?
It's spot on.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and even him being able to talk about the anatomy that prevents the ease that a woman should have for giving birth is exceptional. And that's why I think before we even started recording, it's important that men are in this conversation, contributing to this conversation as well. And the logic of it is obvious, but I think there's been various aspects of life in which you've been brainwashed. But I think brainwashing around childbirth is obviously the thing I think that is, I might be biased, is having the most detrimental effect on health generally.
There's pros and cons to everything, right? And Ramsey pretty much just said the reason why women are on their back is so that doctors can check this and do that. Is the pro of that not worth the con of maybe laying on their back?
That's if you perceive childbirth as being a medical event, which it isn't. It can't be. It predates medicine by about 200,000 years. So and that's if you believe where we're coming from, because there's various beliefs about how we got here as humans. But really, if you look at it, it's several 100,000 years. So medicine has not been around that long. So I think for us to have a woman in a position that benefits medics, so they're comfortable because they can sit on a stool, right? If that doesn't make sense, it's not logical that we would put that as the default.
But is it really just a case of them being comfortable like that, or is it really ease of access in a sense of to help the woman?
For sure. But by her being in that position, it is unhelpful for the woman because, like Ramsey mentioned, you haven't got gravity assisting, and you're also closing down the bones that actually need to open for the baby to be born. So you're right about pros and cons, but the con there is actually you're making it more likely that the woman's going to need the assistance. So the default ought not to be a position that will cause the woman to require assistance.
Also, as well, though, you're saying about the ease for them to get there, but it's not impossible for them to switch positions. We're asking the woman to do the thing that's the most uncomfortable for her. Sometimes it's I say us as professionals, because I think about this in my own career as well. I need to now shift to the person I'm serving, right? It's not impossible to think outside of the box. Yes, there might be some, you would hope, rare circumstances where you need to be on your back because I need to do this, right? But prior to getting there, there's surely, again, I'm not a
No, I
midwife
hear
in it.
you.
But surely there's multiple things that you can do, different ways you can position yourself, different ways you can work as a professional to help that woman before you put her in the most uncomfortable situation.
The thing is, once you are giving that assistance, say for instance, just having been present for like forceps births, etc. Not many, but for that, you're using some instruments that the placement of which can mean a fractured skull or an easy birth for the baby, right, from the baby's perspective. Wrongly placed forceps can cause more harm and damage to the woman's vagina. So I agree, if we are using forceps, the woman being on her back would create more safety for that process. And I'm kind of agreeing with you as well. If we thought more wisely about that situation, we'd have prevented that scenario by her not being on her back. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So and so I agree with you. The creativity of how you serve a woman in that scenario, the creativity it's incumbent on the midwife and the obstetrician to facilitate a situation that doesn't require her then to be on her back with her legs in lithotomy and a cut to her vaginal opening, etc. Yeah.
No, as soon as I hear about cutting, that's when I'm like,
Yeah, because and I like that response because that's kind of a visceral response to scissors to tender genitals ought not to be normal. But I hear today, even though we've got like 50% of women giving birth by cesarean, there's still 30% of women receiving a cut to their genitals.
Lord God.
Can I ask a question? So, you know the whole C-section stuff, right?
Yes.
So obviously, I feel like there's a narrative that C-sections aren't good and you shouldn't opt for them, and a natural birth is better. But I guess my friends who've recently given birth have all just been like, yeah, C-section. Like they're so happy that they had a C-section, and one of them in particular. So she's had 3 kids. Her first child was a natural birth, but she had to have an emergency C-section because it just got to the point where like her life was in danger. And after that, her other 2 kids, she had planned C-sections. And she said if she knew it was as straightforward, she would have opted for that the first time round. So I guess my question to you is, are C-sections as bad as they say, or like what's your opinion?
Yeah. So when somebody says that they had or attempted a natural birth that then cascaded to a surgical one, I have a lot of questions because people may decide I'm going to have a natural birth, so that I can have a natural birth, I'm going to receive this induction. And induction methods, they vary. There's so many of them, including, acupuncture for induction, reflexology for induction, membrane sweep for induction, prostaglandin pessaries for induction. So there's various ways that they try to crank a woman open. But what we've got to understand is in that cranking of the woman open, the disrespect to the whole physiology of the process that enables the baby to come out through the vagina then causes a cascade. So often people say, oh, I tried a natural birth, but I say, did you? Like, oh yeah, but I had this induction. So, well, you do know that by trying to crank open your cervix, you're ignoring that the oxytocin receptors aren't sufficient to complete the labour and birth, or your production of oxytocin is insufficient to complete the labour and birth, or the consistency of your cervix once it's been cranked open, it's not consistent with a cervix that can fully open to complete the process. So when we ignore the whole complexity, the whole orchestra around getting a whole human out of your vagina, if you start skipping bits and then you end up in surgery, that doesn't mean that there's a problem with natural birth. That means that the whole process wasn't facilitated and respected, so you ended up with a surgical birth. So then you perceive, oh, why didn't I just go straight for the surgical birth then? But it's because of, it's various things. It could be a connective tissue disorder. It could be that the baby can't tolerate a natural birth because of the quality of the placenta, which is the organ, the baby's organ that keeps it nourished all the way through pregnancy and then labour and birth. It could be poor quality. That can speak to, what was the quality of the egg and the sperm that made the baby, which is a bundle of cells that then became placenta, and so it's far more complex. But that's a longer conversation. When it comes to surgical birth, people aren't aware, because everyone seems to be having them. People aren't aware of the knock-ons. So they're not aware that a woman is 3 times more likely to die in the childbirthing year following a surgical birth than she is a vaginal birth. They're not aware of the effect of the far more blood is lost. So a surgical birth, they won't count it as a hemorrhage until you've lost 1 litre of blood. Whilst with a vaginal birth, it's half a litre of blood. They then count it as a hemorrhage. So if you can be expected to lose up to 999 mils and it not called a hemorrhage and you're not being treated as such, then when you've got 1 litre of your blood missing or more, so you're struggling to create breast milk, you then then have a hungry baby, where people can easily say to the woman, okay, your baby's hungry, give your baby formula. Then so it's the cascade. So then the baby's got formula in their system, which will affect their microbiome, which is their gut health, which is their mental health. Or you've got a baby that's bypassed the vagina, which affects their microbiome, which is their gut health, which is their mental health. So it's the cascade. But because we're swimming in this pool of many, many women having surgical birth, we all think that's normal. We think it's normal that a woman should, be curtailed to 3 babies only, when our grandmothers that weren't having surgery were having minimum of 12, 15, etc. So it feeds into that agenda that I'm not going to mention. So if everyone's being curtailed to 3 babies, you've then got this, this situation where a woman's health is impacted, because a woman's health is improved by having many children into many years. She will live longer if she has children longer.
Is it?
Yes. She will actually live longer the older she is bearing children.
So question. So why do they then refer to geriatric pregnancies after the age of, is it 30?
They try it with
by them you mean Iman?
Yeah, he says
I'm
that
sorry.
from time to time, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Gets onto older women and both.
When you've got, when you've got.
No, do you know what it is? It's more so.
Wow, he said no.
So that's
They
how
said
you
no,
that's
man
how you
said
view
no.
me.
Crazy.
No, I don't.
That's how
Crazy
you
again, he
view
said
me. If
no
I came
again.
to you and I said I was pregnant, Emmanuel,
You'd be like,
you're
yo,
saying to me,
I'll be so happy.
He'd be like,
I promise you, I'll be so happy.
Yeah, but she'd be geriatric.
literally.
Yeah, it's just labels are labels. You know what I mean? But as long as the baby's healthy and whatnot, you know what I mean? But
You
but
know
are
when
we,
a
are
woman's
we,
pregnant, you're supposed to talk to her very specifically. You're supposed to keep, you know what I mean?
You've got to keep her stress to a
serotonin
minimum.
and all that up.
when you
Call her
are,
geriatrics.
I'll talk so
I'll just call
nice.
you geriatric behind your back.
But is it really the case though that it's better for women to have kids 35 and up than 25?
No, I'm not saying it's better
Okay.
to have children 35 and up.
Okay.
There clearly is an advantage to having children, say, in your 20s. I can see it.
Yeah.
Right? But also, it's not just pertaining to age. Because if you remember, I'm just mentioned, well, you don't have to remember, I just mentioned that when we're not messing with women's fertility or mode of birth, a woman will naturally have maybe a 2 or 3 year gap between her children and have many children. So it stands to reason that she'll be giving birth in her late 40s, particularly maybe early 50s.
When you said messing, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. But when you said messing with a woman's fertility, are you talking about like birth control pills and stuff?
Oh man, oh why? Why?
No, that's fine. That should be
That's fine. We ain't got.
Yeah,
We need to give our
yeah,
community-
yeah.
'cause
Birth
there's-
control is
there's no research into it and the damage and stuff.
the damage is
serious.
it's big. It's
Can-
big.
can you-
But I
Can't
feel
even
like-
go
Can you
there.
list them, please?
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah,
and
let's
then
get into it.
The hormones,
Mm.
controlling a woman's fertility with hormones is going to have impact on other ways that she maintains her health.
Yep.
So we've got her autoimmune,
Yep.
the autoimmune disorders that
Wow.
women are having.
Yeah.
We're having
Stronger periods.
the periods, or we're having missing periods,
Yeah.
which will affect women's moods. The way women choose partners affected by birth control, because hormones affect feelings. So you see things differently.
They can't detect pheromones the same way they would be able to if
Yeah.
they went on it.
So that's a whole big subject. So when we
Lucky, that's how I bagged.
say that again.
That's how I bagged my wife.
What?
Her pheromone was blocked. She didn't detect how bad I was.
She didn't until it was too late. It was too late. But yeah, so whenever we are interfering with the way a human works, we have to think about knock-ons.
Sure. Yeah.
With medicine, we don't think about the knock-on. We observe the knock-on, like in a rearview mirror, when the damage is already done.
Yeah.
So we have many women that are suffering with fertility issues now in their 20s and 30s because they were encouraged as like smarties. Just take this birth control when they're in their teens. Oh, periods painful. We'll just stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, and none of this is accidental.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Facts.
none of it
Facts.
is accidental. Everything's in the rearview mirror. It's like even them X-raying women. They did it for 20 years, even though like 10 years in, they were saying we've got many more babies being born with deformities. Yeah, they just carried on, right, doing it.
What was that drug they were giving to?
Thalidomide.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, thalidomide, right? Huge knock-ons.
Yeah.
Rearview mirror. Oh, look, we've got all these babies with no limbs, impaired limbs.
Even
You know?
the one we won't mention, the 19-year-old.
Okay, no.
One.
I'm moving. I'm moving.
Yeah.
Don't be scared now.
We're not
No,
doing that. You, man.
I'm joking.
But yeah, it's so it's the whole rear view mirror thing that medicine does that is an issue, and we've got a very recent, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, example of that. This is not new, right? But with regard to this perception that okay, I'll choose a surgical birth, it's easier. There are knock-ons, not just for the woman and her own health. Placenta accreta, when you've got a wound on your uterus and then you make another baby, if that baby implants near the wound and then the placenta grows into the wound, you've got something called accreta, which is where the placenta... So rather than poor placentation, where it doesn't quite adhere well enough, so you end up with a higher rate of stillbirth or babies dying in labour, it adheres too much. So then we've got a higher rate of blood loss or hysterectomy or death for the woman because the placenta can't come out because there's a wound there. So we've got the placenta invading the wound, or we've got the placenta attaching to the bladder, percreta, because of previous cesareans. There's so many knock-ons. So whilst it's perceived as ease, actually we would be healthier if we facilitated healthy vaginal birth.
And this is also obviously us just taking into account hospital births, which is what I'm really opposed to. Obviously, if you're healthy and you're able to, and you're fortunate enough to be able to have a home birth, I'm a huge advocate for home births. Any type of medical intervention, I always kind of worry and I get concerned.
Government intervention too. This is what I'm trying to say to you. But Antoni's got a question, yeah. But before I read that, C91 in the chat says, I've had 2 C-sections and I'm still not fully healed. Right, and I've been told that I'm not to get pregnant for the next 2 years until it's fully healed. If I had my way, I would have given birth naturally. And like you said, it's always happening after the fact
That's
when the damage
right.
is done.
That's right.
Antonia Hansen, big up Antonia. She said, "Can she speak on how they tell you about PCOS and not say how common it is? I was told at 16 I can't have kids."
Okay, so fortunately, there are ways around this. There are incredible ways of healing, but it's acknowledging the body's ability to heal itself if you set up the right conditions. So, yeah,
So I was just going to ask, can you explain what PCOS is, please?
yeah, polycystic ovary syndrome.
Okay.
So it will be a condition that will impact a person's ability to give birth because the ovaries are where the eggs follicles mature and are released from. And if they're cystic, it will affect that process. So when women are diagnosed with PCOS, they're diagnosed with it as in it's a condition. It's not. There's no ability to heal, and it's got to be managed. But actually, that's because, again, with medicine, we don't go back to root cause. So honestly, Antonia, if you get the opportunity to explore the root cause, there's a possibility that you can affect your condition and receive healing. I've seen it. I've seen it many times.
Amen to that.
The PCOS, as well as other things that women are currently fighting in droves, record numbers, we've got to look back to the use of birth control. We've also got to look back to childhood vaccines. And what we're now learning about the minimal testing and the rearview mirrorness of the use of childhood vaccines is also having an effect.
This guy. Is there a link between birth control and all that sort of stuff and fibroids?
And yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Again, one of the causes of fibroids is overproliferation of estrogen, but it's not just the birth control. It'll be what we eat, what's in the water. So it's again what hormones are doing inside of us that we're only now seeing following the use of the hormones for decades.
The Verena says, can you provide info on fibroids? A doctor suggested marina coil to deal with the knock-on effects of it, but I'm not keen on it. Can you advise on something else?
Yes, I would. I would, again, looking at the function of the human, which functioned very well before medicine, I would go back to the root cause of the fibroids, and it tends to be related to our intake and also toxic environment. So rather than with medicine, which treats the symptoms by giving you a Mirena coil, I would look to perhaps speaking to a functional medicine practitioner, functional medicine doctor. Of course, you can use like a naturopath, etc. But in the first instance,
So what's that?
a naturopath is somebody who looks at the original medicine forms like herbalism. I know homeopathy is a bit newer, but herbalism's very old. Many allopathic remedies are based on herbs. With the herbs, there's the balance in the herb, so you don't end up with so many side effects. So you can start gentle with a naturopath, but then may need to move on to a functional medicine doctor who will be looking at blood work, looking at past history of allopathic medicine, and see if there can be a balance restored in you that will prevent the fibroids from growing and take you the other way.
I feel like there's also another conversation that I don't think I've had with you, and it's in regards to forever chemicals and microplastics.
Yeah, that's the toxins I'm talking
Yeah.
about, 100%.
So I feel like that's also the rearview mirror thing where we're only finding out about it now. So
Yes.
I mean, didn't they just find out recently? I'll say recently, around the last 3-4 years, that they found microplastics for the first time ever in placenta.
Yes.
Serious.
Yep. Yeah, it's there. But again, I am positive because the birthing generation now are becoming aware of these things. how far, like you said, clue is in the title, forever. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be very difficult for us to remove those toxins and the effects of them. Like, it's in the water table, it's everywhere. But I think we've still got the opportunity to try.
DCF Mux said, honestly, big thank you to everyone in the chat for sharing their experiences. Big learning opportunity for me. Can I extend that to everybody? Please share the video so that other people can feel that same sentiment, man. There's a lot of important information here, man. Easy Bambino said, slight tangent, so maybe for later in the discussion, we're here now. Could we ask what a helpful male partner looks like during childbirth? A lot of TV shows have us looking mad.
Such a good question. And thankfully, I've been exposed to many helpful male partners.
Come on.
And honestly,
Come on, Ema.
there used to be,
Come on.
there used to be, like you say, this idea that, men are really useless in the birth space. And you'll see media showing men passing out or vomiting and all this nonsense. But no, I've seen modelled some amazing support from men, and it kind of will reflect what the relationship is generally, or the male may wake up to their role actually in the labour, because labour can be like that. It can be, you can have stuff hidden and it really only come to the fore in the labour room. But I've seen many men that step up to the plate before labour started. They have this recognition that even though they're having a child together, it's the woman that is carrying the child, and so they then step up to do their part. So what a helpful man will look like is, if there's an expression that we want to have children, that man will engage in the preconception preparation. So, I hear a lot of men now, like you wouldn't dream of it in my generation, I'm sorry. But thankfully, I hear a lot of men now, I've stopped drinking, we'd like to have a baby. I've stopped smoking, we'd like to have a baby, because those things have an impact on the way cells move. And the sperm is a cell. So, they're cleaning up their lives prior to conception.
That's it.
Big help, because if you offer to this child, to the creation of this child, substandard sperm, then that woman's going to have more complex pregnancy, which they're going to need to do more work to sustain, which will reduce her options for the labour and birth. So the preconception work, beautiful, chef's kiss. I see a lot of that now in the generation of birthers from the men. So then you're creating optimal embryo with your woman, who's also optimized her health. It's because she knows it's happening in her. It's easier for her to make those changes. She has hormones that swing into play in her pregnancy that will assist her to avoid things that are unhelpful, right?
Sorry, no, I don't want to cut you, Karen. Please.
But the helpful man will support that. So much as you might have a little laugh about her being hormonal, I want to remind everyone that you want a woman to be hormonal. Yeah, because it's hormones that are sustaining the pregnancy.
Exactly.
So the helpful man will not keep taking the piss out of his woman.
E-man.
I don't even understand what you're doing.
I don't know.
That actually goes on to what I was going to say, like taking it further. So you were talking about the man being involved in the pregnancy. If we take that further, there was times when you wouldn't be in the room with us.
That's
because
right.
It was seen as maybe disgusting, whatever, shameful. And I think if we're going to think about preconception, let's take it back even further and think about, okay, what are the conversations around women's health and women's and the birthing experience and what it is like, instead of stigmatizing women for being hormonal or saying that, like you should be able to, plenty of women do this, you should just be able to do this. Think about how we think about the conceptualization of womanhood and what that means, and also your part to play in understanding that. And I think
100%.
that's going to be...
So that goes to a man's childhood.
Like, that's what I think.
What have they seen modelled when it comes to respect for women or women's processes or their periods or... she's really hormonal, she's having her period. Excuse me, I'm refreshing for the next generation. So I'm shedding my endometrium to get a fresh one. So peel my grapes, rub my feet. Yeah, I'm doing a good job.
Man.
Yeah, but also it's about
What's going on there?
unlike
Yeah,
a,
no, you're attacking him, man.
You know what I'm saying? Little do you know, I am the most helpful guy.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
But just thinking about, okay, that's like on a spiritual level as well. But if you're thinking
Yeah.
about the formation of a baby, an embryo,
Yeah.
the first thing we have is a nervous system. That's literally
Yeah.
the first thing that develops.
100%.
So what you do to your partner in that time,
Mhm.
yeah, you're kind of setting it's epigenetics, isn't it? You're setting the
million.
tone for that baby's ability to
Oh, I've got
handle
goosebumps.
stress,
Say it.
the ability to the emotional resilience.
Yes.
So you have to be careful how you affect the woman's nervous
Yes.
system while she's building another nervous system.
Yes.
And if you think about the context of living as a woman, that is stressful in itself, just in the world as it is. I don't want to come home and deal with that.
But
You
you,
need to
but
understand.
you see. Oh, I love how you've nailed it, because it's like when you observe descendants from people that have survived famine or a war zone.
Yep.
You will see generations ahead that struggle with stress or a stress response or high cortisol, etc. So when you see that in future generations, you then can acknowledge the impact of the environment that you created whilst that baby was being made.
Absolutely.
Okay, so say for instance, if you're the woman is carrying a woman, carrying a child, a girl child, that means we're already affecting the grandchildren because she already has her full set of eggs.
Yeah.
So we've got this the environmental factor, which is 100%. I'm with you. It's affected by the unhelpful or helpful male.
The relational dynamic is everything. This is why I keep saying, like, just having like core relational skills, being able to relate to each other, understand each other, care for each other, be compassionate to each other. I'm talking on a biological level, a cellular genetic level.
100%.
You will be creating a better community.
I'm glad you said that, because I wish I had the video to hand. But basically, they looked at one guy who maybe 4 or 5 generations ago, they looked at his life and all that sort of stuff, right? And he was somebody who was just every negative in society, pretty much he engaged in. And they looked at his descendants. Big percentage of them, like 3, 4 generations later, trigger warning, were prostitutes.
Yeah.
In jail, homeless, unproductive. Another gentleman on the same road, completely different experience. 3, 4 generations, doctors, lawyers, vice president, all completely
different lineage. Absolutely. So it's like, when white supremacists focus on missing males, missing black males from families, etc., and try and just pin it on the current generation without even thinking about what was being done to the previous generations that would have fostered that kind of environment for future generations. So this is why I really take my hat off to the healing that's being achieved by the current generation of black birthers. So because the what is being overcome is overwhelming, credit to our resilience, but definitely you can see the impact of previous insults over previous generations. But we can do our best. We can use the current information to try and improve that. So back to that beautiful question about how can I be a helpful man? Maintain an excellent environment for your woman, have enough respect and trust to listen. Protect.
And also,
sorry, can I say one last thing here? The other day we were talking about Ginger J. We had like 300 people in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Right now it's 187. One was unproductive. One was giving life. This is giving life. People share the video, man. Like the video. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Yeah, just to add on to Isabamino's question is it's important for the man to be in the appointments with the woman and to do the research with the woman, because obviously both of you, it's a
100%.
It's a 2 people thing. It's not just the woman giving birth and she's got to deal with it. So do the research into how our body's going to change, what's going to happen, how you can prepare, because you need to prepare. Have a birth bag ready, have a birth plan ready, which is extremely important. That puts the woman's mind at ease. No matter where she is, she knows that there's a plan there. And just be present for all of it. Also, just to add on to what you said about the man's health, again, I read research that said if a man is exercising, going to gym, and eating properly, that again affects the quality.
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
So just to add
100%,
on to
because
what
we're
you said.
talking about oxygenation of your cells. And if you've got depleted cells that you're bringing to the party, you're going to have a child that's going to have more challenges.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely right.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. It's also important to look at different avenues of giving birth, because I've told you this many times where I've met someone who's saying they're having a baby, and usually when I gently kind of broach the subject, I think someone else asked this earlier, was how to broach the subject with someone who might take offense or who's already stuck in their ways in regards to no, what do you mean home birth? Like, I don't know what that is.
Good question.
It's how do you broach that? Because you know me, I'll say it and then I end up getting into an argument. So it's how do you do it in a Kemi way and not in a Ramsey way? So how do you deconstruct, or how do you uncondition, if that's a word, someone's brain to just thinking it's a medical treatment?
And I know that can be difficult because of the juice that we're all sitting in around childbirth. But I do take it back to. Can we stop? Juice. So when we consider what we're all sitting in with regard to childbirth, the default. So how I tend to do it, I say, okay, how were your parents born? And often people say, oh, I'm sure my mum was born in hospital. And it's like, okay, where was your grandmother born? And it's like, oh, well, you couldn't, your grandmother, there was no options. Where did she give birth, where she was born? It will usually be in a community setting, in the home, right? And then I'll say, well, are you aware that you're descended from like many generations of people giving birth, and they were all in community settings, and you're only here because of those births that all happened successfully, obviously, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So I take them back to how things happened before hospital, which is the majority of the history of the human. And it seemed to be going quite well, clearly, right? So, and also I explore, yes, you have cities in countries, particularly, anywhere that's not Western. You've got many births happening in the home really safely and inconspicuously. So I just try and take them back through logic, Ramsey. That's all, quietly. And also, I divorce my emotions from their outcomes. So I used to get, I'm passionate about this
Very
thing.
hard for me to do.
Yeah. But now it's like I give information, and it's not that I don't care. I'm not callous, but my expectation is that people won't listen.
Okay.
And it's good. So I've set the bar low. So when I'm giving the information, it's not so charged, and then people can really sit with their own decisions and biases.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm going to get to Jay's question on the screen, but I noticed that in the last time you came, a lot of people in the chat were basically not in the chat, in some of the comments were basically saying, "Oh, but we have a health system for a reason, medical this for a reason." Like, what is the best practical way to actually tell somebody who's saying to you, has an excuse for everything, for why they want a C-section, excuse for why they want a intervention. What's the
epidural.
Thank you very much. That one. Like, how do you sit down, especially if you're a man, saying to a woman, because obviously some women will be like, this is women's business. What do you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we articulate that and get the change we desire?
Yeah. Well, for a start, often people say, when it comes to picking partners, which is along the lines of this, a helpful partner, I just have a bar for intelligence. Like, how I used to make my choices. Oh, nice ass, let's go.
Yeah.
That's not the way to pick the person that you're going to have to struggle with, get property with, raise your children with, etc. We're just going to need to be a bit brighter than that.
100%.
So the way we pick our partners contributes to that. But yeah, the conversations that you have with them, it's like, oh, just have an epidural. Why? Because she's making too much noise. Okay, but the epidural is going to affect her ability to move, affect the communication between her and the baby inside of her, affect the way the baby can rotate and descend, which will affect whether they're going to cut your vaginal opening and apply forceps or not, which affects whether the baby has a fractured skull or bruises to their face or scarring or not. It's the knock-ons. So shall we just get back to basics? Why don't you just tolerate my noise and we have this baby?
For sure. For real.
Yeah, why don't you manage your anxiety and your emotions and we have this baby?
It's hard. You know what the thing is, yeah? As much I'm with you,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to see it from our perspective, because I feel like it's hard when we've been told that obviously labor is a life and death situation, and you're asking me to rely on your natural, you know what I'm saying? When really, you know what I'm saying? Like how is that person meant to listen to you?
Right, that's interesting. So, a partner chooses a woman because she's got great boobs, okay, but nothing more than that. And then disrespects her process enough, because we've talked about, when great partners are around, like, through childhood, a woman's processes was never off the table in our household. So, of course, when Ramsey met his wife, everything was out there for discussion. He was already a switched on man, like with my other sons as well. So we've got that kind of man participating in the relationships and, perhaps making children someday. If you're going to choose wisely, you're not going to choose a man who's going to disrespect your process. Oh yeah, I trust you to have an orgasm. I trust you to be able to use your throat properly, when it's necessary. But I don't trust you to get out a whole human.
Do you not see why do you understand why I'm grown up, why I'm so crude? Do you understand? Just that I talk the way I talk.
If all that, I trust her. I trust her to be able to do that. But I don't trust her to get out a whole human, something that is literally a matter of life and death. You're going to have to trust it. It's worked for generations. It can work now.
All I was going to say is, I feel like sometimes it's the other way around, though, where the woman may be like, no, I can't risk this.
Yeah.
The doctor's telling me something, and you're just telling me something you'd seen on Google.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But let me jump in there.
Yeah.
We've already discussed this. Oh, I'm struggling with my periods. Okay, we'll just stop them then. Yeah, that's what a doctor says.
Yeah.
It doesn't say, oh, let's explore why, root cause. No, it's like, oh, we'll just stop them. We'll just stop them. Here's some birth control.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're a woman that won't question, okay, I don't respect my own processes enough to support them. Instead, I'll just take this pill. Of course, that's the woman that's then going to struggle with fertility. And when she struggles with fertility, she'll go back to the doctor, and they'll, rather than look at the root cause, like killer cells or whatever, they'll say, oh, well, we'll just put sperm and the egg together in vitro, which is outside of you. We'll just do that. We won't explore healing your fertility situation. We'll just explore making it happen, forcing it to happen. So then you've got that woman then journeying through her pregnancy saying, well, I needed medicine. I needed medicine for my painful periods, and I needed medicine to get pregnant. So, of course, I'm going to trust the medicine to get this baby out. But each time, no one's looking at the root cause. So, like you say, yes, of course, women not trusting themselves is primary in this conversation as well.
I feel like we're taught not to trust our bodies, though.
Yes.
Like, from very, like, it's just, again, if I'm like to think about the
100%.
context, like, we're so detached from ourselves and our bodies, and we're constantly like, get up, work, do this, hustle, like to the point where you don't even sit and check in with your body. And then obviously, if we're told you've got a headache, you take paracetamol. If you, I don't think we're connected enough. I'm guilty of it. I'm not saying I'm
benefits
not.
industrialization, though?
I was gonna go there, but I wasn't sure if we were allowed. I wasn't sure if we were allowed to do that. But no. It is. There's a capitalistic like strain to this. It's like if you are,
Yep.
if you make
Misogyny.
sure that the person,
Feminism.
man.
Feminism.
the,
I want to work.
Okay.
no,
I'm
but
there.
the wrong application of
Nasty
feminism
work.
Yeah, that's
without the
That's nasty
systemic
work.
without the systemic backing
Yeah.
that people need, that women need,
I
On your
agree
side.
in
with
order to be
you.
seen as like meaningful people,
Facts.
human beings. Of course, the current iteration of feminism isn't going to work.
No,
So I'm not saying, I'm
exactly.
saying it's a systemic issue opposed to saying the actual like main proponents of feminism. But anyway, that's different.
Yeah. I like it. It's nuance.
But yeah, I just don't think we're connected to our bodies, and
Yeah.
like, how are you going to make sure that people aren't connected to their bodies? You keep them working.
That's right. Oh dear.
Exactly.
It's the one.
Exactly
That's
that.
the one.
Remember, he said word.
Jay said, or asked, can you ask what advice you would give to someone who's in their late 30s struggling with fertility?
Root cause.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But we're here now.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Oh, there's no rush. Root cause. Let's explore it. A year
Okay.
or 2 years. Let's go back. Let's remove toxins from the home. Let's, what
Plastic
is our
Tupperware
water
and all that.
source? Yeah, get
Non-stick
the
pans
plastic
and all that.
out and the non-stick out. All of that is affecting your hormones. It all affects the endocrine system. And the endocrine system is what gets you pregnant, right? Your hormonal balance and your immune system.
Also, just to kind of bring it down to the basics, and it's gonna be crazy for me to say, but it has to be said. It goes to what you were saying as well, in which women are taught not to know their bodies. To know when your periods are coming and know when you're ovulating is really important.
It's too important.
Yeah, because people seem to think, man and women think, oh, you just have sex, you get pregnant. You know, there's a window.
Of course.
So if you know when you're ovulating, that's the prime time in which you would have a baby.
Yeah.
But there's times in which you don't know when you're ovulating and you're not going to have a baby. So I think there's another thing just
Get
in
them
case.
apps. Get that
Why don't some women know?
when they're ovulating. Because we're not taught,
taught
like,
this, by the
we're not
way.
taught, we're not,
Seriously
genuinely,
not
you know,
taught.
when they have those classes and they're like, you look go over there and you look
Yeah,
go over there.
yeah.
You know, we're not taught all of the stuff. Like, I don't know
Like,
what
don't
they're
have
teaching us.
sex. You'll get pregnant.
Yeah, you'll get pregnant.
Yeah.
And then you'll
Yeah.
die.
Bleed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're giving mean girls.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because you'll get pregnant and you'll die.
Yeah, we're not taught this at all.
No, and also as well, we're not taught about how small the window is. So we just think,
Yes.
if I'm not on my period, I can get pregnant, and then if I take the morning after pill, I'll be okay. A lot of people I speak to don't know that the morning after pill only works before ovulation. So it delays your ovulation.
Yeah.
So if you've already ovulated and you bang that pill, so sorry, babe, it's not doing anything. That egg is still around
Yeah.
to be fertilized, but we genuinely don't get taught any of this stuff.
And the sperm stays there as well.
And it can just be swimming around doing its
Can
thing
be
for a little
there.
bit. Yeah.
Diabolical work. Diabolical.
Did we answer Jason's question?
Jay's.
I think so.
Let's give her one more piece of advice. So obviously we mentioned get rid of the fake plastic, the microplastics,
Yeah.
the Tupperware and things
Yeah.
of that nature. What other things can they do actively, not
Yeah.
to take away, but
So
to add?
we're really talking about eliminating toxins.
Okay.
And honestly, there's a slight priority switch here, because people might say, because they've believed that fertility is hugely impaired by age, and it's not. It's really about your state of health. So you can have a healthy 50-year-old conceive, with their own eggs, etc. So
Come on.
all I'm saying is, because we never really finished the conversation about geriatric mothers, right? But
Emmanuel tried to swiftly move us on.
so just to say that going back to the quality of the egg and the sperm will affect the conception, ability to conceive, the pregnancy, etc. So you can afford to delay that pursuit to clean up your life and improve your health and balance out your hormones and look at supplementation and look at your nutrition and how you respond to things. Some people don't even realize that they need to be gluten-free because they haven't recognized that they might have inflammation from gluten because they're not connected to their bodies, and the inflammation may be impairing fertility.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a bigger story, but I wouldn't rush to get pregnant, because whatever's causing your fertility can also affect the quality of what you've created and how you carry it and how you give birth.
I know obviously you're a big proponent of doing things as natural as possible, right?
Yes.
But I don't want people to get the wrong idea in it. Also, I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? Because I remember somebody who wanted to go natural. I'm going to be vegan, not taking no supplements.
I don't know if vegan's natural, but there you go. Oh, okay. It's all right. So I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. It's fine.
But I say that because he then thought, okay, cool, I'm not taking no B12, and then found himself in a situation years down the line, right?
That's going to be a
mad.
situation.
Yeah.
What's that?
So-
What's that?
B12 helps with
Folate.
cells. Helps with folate,
Yeah.
growing new cells.
Oh, okay.
Mitochondria.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
it's
that
very,
stuff.
very important. It's the one thing vegans don't get in their diet.
Okay.
Well, not just vegans, everybody.
Yeah, a lot of
Everybody.
us
But
need to
50%,
evaluate it.
but carnivores get it
More, but
Yes,
50% of the
it's
population, 50% of the,
What do I say?
50% of the population is B12 deficient. 50%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And vitamin D, pause.
But that's because we're poorly nourished generally, and a lot of us aren't eating food. We think it's food, but it's
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But I say that just to kind of add on to Jay's question, yeah, which is, in terms of supplements, are there supplements women can take to boost their chances?
It's a good question.
not. Really good question. And what I would say is, again, it's like the broad brush, vegans need B12, and you, thankfully, opening that out and saying, no, actually, half of us need it,
Yeah.
and half of us aren't vegan. Okay, it's about the quality of the intake.
Mm.
So, no, I won't name a supplement
Okay.
that will help people get pregnant,
Yeah.
because you've got to look at your overall state of health, what you're eating,
Yeah.
what levels of toxicity you're dealing with. And then once you look at those levels, then pick out your supplements.
Yes.
So at the moment, we've got a lot of people going on to Pregnacare now. You know, hi. But just as an example,
Yeah.
but there are supplements that may not be hugely helpful
Yes.
Yeah.
because they're not specific enough
Yeah.
to the
Mm-hmm.
background health
Yeah.
of the woman.
Because not everyone needs more iron. Not everyone needs
Yeah.
more folic
Exactly.
acid.
And well, that's what I was gonna say. Just to add on to that, inshallah, when you are pregnant, folate versus folic. I think I need you to.
That's
to
a good
tell
one.
me
Yeah,
what
so folate is natural occurring, usually plant-based
Yep.
and bioavailable.
Calm down.
Plant-based. Yeah.
I love my plants. I'm just saying
Remember that, 'cause
there
people think
might be
about going
some other
vegan.
things that you might need in your diet. So whilst folic acid is synthesized, it's not usually plant-based, so it's not easily bioavailable, so it doesn't do what it's meant to do.
So how can the women get the folate?
Oh, it's amazing. It's out there. Yeah, it's available. It's available in supplement form.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Folic acid is what is being over
Yeah, exactly.
proliferated
Yep.
in what we think we're eating that's called food.
Yeah.
And that can also cause problems.
You know what? Actually, let's strip it down to basics. Tell them why it's important to have folate.
Okay, so folate actually, again, B12, it's important for cell activity, the power of the cell, the mitochondria, which is the power pack of the cell.
The energy center.
So if we are not optimized in that regard, then cells don't work as well. So one of the particular things that can occur for a person with underacting cells is midline defects. So that's we're actually formed, like you said, the central nervous system is the first part, but we're formed in two halves and we come together and we have a midline. And that underpowered cellular activity at that level can affect how the midline is formed and how our central nervous system is formed. Wow. So there was one of the particular things was, oh gosh, what does the name drop out of my head? The gap in the back.
Well, so
it'll come back. There's a particular thing that I've only seen on one child when I was in the maternity system, the established one, where there was a gap at the base of their spine, and I don't know why. I can't remember what it is. It's just dropped out of my head. It'll come back. Maybe somebody will comment what it is. But that's a malformation of the central nervous system along the midline.
Have you found there to be any
Spina
Spina bifida. Thank you,
Okay.
sweetheart.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, good. New-
Have you found there to be any bad consequences on pregnancies due to weight loss injections?
So that's a new thing I will
Okay.
be looking out for.
Okay.
I haven't got personal experiences yet,
Mhm.
neither directly with clients or, from being consulted. But I'm imagining there's going to be
Yeah, 100%.
huge.
Rearview mirror type shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna come up in like a few years though, isn't it?
100%.
I feel like it will. Yeah.
Fernan says, could I add a part 2 to this question? The guest is spitting out, but because it's not mainstream knowledge, it's easy to offend. Oh, that's basically what I asked earlier.
Yeah.
How can we broach this sensitive subject with people?
I'm not sure that it is like, thank you for inviting me, and you've invited me to speak freely, and I'm speaking freely, and people that are interested will engage. I no longer see it as my role to broadcast this information. If people don't want to hear it, then it will be reflected in your
That's your
descendants.
own. That is your own and your descendants. Your children.
Even to your descendants.
But it's to give you credit, you've been doing it for so long and been attacked for so long by both ignorant people and people in
and colleagues.
Educated.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
When we
and
talk about
midwives
obs
and
surgeons all
obstetricians.
that, like surgeons telling that no, let's cut up these women. Like, what are you talking about? Because at the end of the day, for them in that field, women are nothing but numbers on a conveyor belt. So they just want, all right, come, get her out, get her out, like as soon as possible, just to be more productive. So now you've definitely done your job. You just can't do it forever.
Yeah. And I also, I haven't passed the baton fully, but definitely, I no longer attend birth to do this. It's only been less than 2 years, but I no longer attend birth because I talk, but I'm only talking to people that want to hear it. I'm not going to hold your leg and beg you. As I said, it will be reflected in your children and your descendants.
So it's incumbent upon us in the room, everybody listening, to share the information.
100%.
Like the video, people, share the information, man. Like literally, this could save lives, man.
It does save lives.
Saves lives.
I have people write to me, you saved my life. I put it up on my social media because I used to be, that thing, self-deprecating and everything else. Doesn't serve anyone. So I toot my horn now, and if people tell me, you saved my life, you saved my baby, I'll put it up on the internet.
Speaking of saving lives, we've had 2 guests on the show before, a couple of times, I think. The wonderful ladies at 5 Times More. And they're out there doing amazing work, trying to, enlighten the public on why it is that black women are, now 4 times more likely to die in labour, right?
They put a post
No, in the childbirthing year.
Thank you. Wait, they put a post?
They put a post up the other day, and I think it's like 2.3 now.
Okay.
You know why?
What's the source of the data?
It would usually be the people that do the head count on death, which is Embrace.
But tell them why it's changed.
But
yeah, I want to.
But what's the? I need to know more about him. So I'm putting my conspiracy. Sorry, not conspiracy. But I'm just thinking. I'm being a bit critical about why that is now. Why
is it going down?
Like, why is it going down? But why the data can be
manipulated.
You can change it. You can look at it in different ways.
Dying to tell you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Tell us.
So at first they then started to look at what the definition of black was. So they started to count differently people that were biracial. And then the biggest change has been that white women are now, the rates at which they are now dying is increasing, which will change the multiple. So everyone throwing their hat in the air saying, oh yeah, it's reducing now. It's not. It's just that white women are now equally more likely to die. But that's about maternity services and the poor outcomes, hence the 27 billion that they've had to pay out for negligence and all the rest.
Is that across like different classes as well? Like if I'm thinking about the area in which you're
Oh
born
yeah,
in,
yeah. They
determines
used
the
to
hospital that you're in.
definitely. They used to talk about the housing
Mm.
and how that contributes, and poverty markers and all the rest of it, and how that contributes. But in actual fact, as was proven by Serena Williams, you can be having a biracial child and be minted and still almost die. So it's it's more about systemic racism that makes the beliefs that they've had, the age-old ones, that black women don't feel pain in the same way as white women and things like that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just the multiple has changed because more white women are dying now.
This is just a reminder, just in case it wasn't clear, and I'm not trying to be condescending, but it just speaks to us being mindful and knowing more about a particular thing, innit? Because on the surface, propaganda is one of the most powerful tools.
It's the one.
Messaging. Because you would just think, oh, wow, it's gone down to 4 times, 3 times, 2.5 times, not knowing the same numbers. Because they're only giving you a ratio compared to white people, compared to Asian people.
100%.
But when you focus on yourself, you recognize the same deaths are occurring. Where's the improvement?
That's right.
Insane.
That's right, exactly. But that's the nature of propaganda. That's why I think the best thing we can do when we're raising our children is encourage them to ask questions. And of course, that's going to bite you in the ass because they're going to question you, but good.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's about your integrity and you realizing that being honest with your children will probably save them.
I want to get to one of the other taboos, yeah. In fact, before I get there, Chijuke asked a question. He says, can we ask, or did we talk about the birth mortality rate in Nigeria and what may be the causes?
Oh, gosh, you see, I love my Nigerians. I love Nigeria. I'm not Nigerian, actually. My mum's from Sierra Leone and my dad's from Barbados, but I love it. So Nigeria has a lot to carry. It's carrying a lot for black people generally around the world and Africans around the world. So I wouldn't dare to comment on that. Okay. I'm being real. I'm sorry. I have too much respect for the country to just cast around to think about what's happening there. Okay. But what I will say is just in other African countries that I'm more familiar with, like with Sierra Leone, for instance, I know the maternal mortality rate and the baby mortality rate was about Western practices and the dependence on them in that environment where they didn't have the resources to practice the Western practices. So, for instance, in the UK, if we mess around a birth, or we mess around a pregnancy, mess around a birth, and the wheels come off, we can just take her to theatre and cut the baby out, right? Whilst if you mess around with pregnancy and birth in Sierra Leone without the resources, just a handful of obstetricians, etc., you've got less available to rescue the woman and the baby. And then that would obviously negatively contribute to mortality rates. So I don't know if that's the same that's happening in Nigeria, but definitely I know in Sierra Leone, the women out being attended by traditional birth attendants will have better outcomes. It's actually was mirrored in America. So the history of midwifery in the US, which is a very young country, is on the shoulders of the Africans who had been trafficked, right, to the country, who came with those midwifery skills, and they were excellent. So they were on point. I'm telling you, they brought generations of skills. But when it was perceived that there was a lot of money in birth care, then obviously the white men wanted in. For sure. We're going into the Rothschilds, etc., but we won't go there. And then they found ways to discredit the grand midwives who were black, right? And so then they started to get poorer outcomes. But they don't care. They're still running with it. Yeah. And to this day, look where they are when it comes to mortality rates for women and babies in the US, amongst the worst in the developed world. So there we go. You know.
Our wonderful sister, big up Esther in the chat.
Come on.
Hey,
Oh,
Esther.
hey, Esther.
She said, "Oh, Auntie's back. My mindset on childbirth became less scary from the last episode with you.
Oh,
Auntie Kemi is a treasure we've got to protect.
100%.
100%, man.
thank you.
Share the video, people. Share the video, pardon me. Marcy has some pushback. She says, what about what we've been told about women dying more frequently in childbirth before modern medicine?
Really good question. Oh man, love the pushback. So we've got to look at why they were dying. So as women started to come into hospitals, actually for birth, just looking at the UK, the rate went up. And it was because they were in the hospital, but the hospital, they were kind of grouped together. And so there was something called childbed fever that used to happen, which is where the sanitation wasn't great in the hospital setting, and the way the clinicians, the doctors and their attending midwives used their hands and instruments wasn't sanitary. And so infection would spread. The use of antibiotics wasn't prevalent. And so initially, when women and babies went into hospitals, there was more death. There was more death when instruments are being used in the home. So before they're being used in the hospital, the male midwives or obstetricians would come to the house with instruments that hadn't been sanitized, and so then would start the whole infection process. So basically the instruments, they'd practice on cadavers because it's a very new thing. So they'd practice on cadavers and then take the same instruments and use them on living women and babies. When instruments were first being used, there was never any intent that the baby would survive. It was to keep the woman alive. So the mortality of children appeared high. Also, when the women used to wear corsets, the ones with money, which would change the genital tract. So it would change the way the uterus sat and how it was formed, space for the baby, cause malposition of the baby, which would then go on to cause difficulties in labour that they would rescue with insanitary instruments. So it was the knock-ons. And then you had like poor sanitation, poor water supply, overcrowded homes, etc. It's not that birth was dangerous. It was looking at the environment surrounding it. And also as well, now we look at things like, so we've got stillbirth, which is death of the baby before they're born. Then we've got neonatal death, which is death in the first 28 days, and we lump it together and call it perinatal death. But when they used to count infant mortality, they would count the whole year. And so the baby might be born fine, in their community setting, but because of the poor sanitation in the community setting, then the baby might die within a year. But that would be called infant mortality, and everyone would paint that as being particularly poor. But we're looking over a whole year, not just a month like we do now.
Big up Marcy for that question.
Really good.
She says, not pushback, I've never researched it, just always accepted it as fact. So she just wanted to get some insight.
Yeah, really good. Good question.
Ed asks, what's Auntie Kemi's advice for women suffering with thyroid disease that want to have children?
Ah, amazing. Oh gosh, but repetitive again. You've got to look why. Why the thyroid disease? They're only measuring certain aspects of thyroid function. You've got to look at the whole picture.
Exactly.
So you've got your hypothyroidism, you've got your hyperthyroidism. You've got to find out what is being released. What are we talking about? T3, T4, TSH, and that is root cause. Please don't go and take the flimsy little blood test and hope, and then take medication. It's not going to work.
But you wouldn't say blood tests are obviously not important.
Oh, I love that. I'm actually bigging up. I'm saying you need a wider. You need a wider band. Not the flimsy one. You need a good investigation.
Noreen asks, please can she advise on iron levels and how they impact health with pregnancy? Because I'm chronically anemic and I am always warned about it if I get pregnant.
Have they told you why you're chronically anemic? Yeah. Have you noticed the theme?
Exactly.
There's reasons, yeah. And just, oh, she's anemic, let's throw iron at her. That might affect your magnesium and copper balance. Yeah, which still goes back to fertility, which still goes back to cell action.
Yeah.
So you've got to speak to a functional medicine nerd who wants to find out what is affecting you, what's optimal for you. It's different for different women.
Where can they find one of these people?
Yeah, very good question, because they're fairly new. I'm actually wondering if I want to go there myself. Like, you know, another career. Yeah, it's not a new discipline. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I think, new to the wider population. So you're going to have to do some brave search networks. Yeah, brave. Great search engine. Just go on there and you start to explore who's in your area, because there's another thing which goes back to a bit what you were talking about before about how they have manipulated women's behaviour, because women used to talk more. And would be able and would have their ways of sharing this kind of information. And then, you know, things like, oh, I'm struggling with my periods would have been solved by other women rather than us going to a doctor and just doing as we're told. So one of those other things about women talking is that we'd be able to say as communities, these are the great functional medicine doctors. This is a great Bowen therapist to help you with your alignment and your body balance, etc. But in the absence of that, please use your search engines, or if you're parts of women's groups, etc. What I'll do sometimes is put up an ad on my grids, on my Instagram. And I'm starting a school community soon. So I would definitely try and find in your community who these people are, and then find a good one, stick to them like glue.
I'm going to get into Ed's question in a minute, yeah. I guess it's somewhat related to postnatal care and stuff, yeah. But as much as I feel like men and women should be kind of up to date on information equally, right? I feel like there will be certain things that one might be more have an affinity with. So, for example, maybe a man might be more protective over things he can see. A woman more so what she can feel, because it's internal, right? What are some of the things that a man should kind of look out for when after the woman's given birth, in terms of protecting her and also protecting the baby?
You like postnatal depression and stuff.
Yeah. And just even how a doctor handles a child. I remember one time I took my daughter to hospital, very early days, and I saw the doctor checking stuff, and she was kind of checking the soft spot and stuff. I didn't like how she was pressing, you know what I'm saying? So little stuff like that, like